Good evening. Happy Sunday. Today we're going to be talking about the system in the Gulf of Mexico, which is expected to impact the western Florida Peninsula sometime around Wednesday. So, as you can see on satellite imagery, we have Hurricane Leslie, located in the eastern Atlantic, Major Hurricane Kirk, which is absolutely getting obliterated by wind shear right now, and we have Hurricane Milton, which is expected to impact the western Florida Peninsula. So zooming in on Hurricane Hilton using the infrared satellite imagery, you can see there's a lot of high cloud tops indicated by the pink circle there. And you can see Hurricane Milton has a nice amount of convection around its entire side. And you can also see here it is trying to spin and maybe get an eye going around this area. It's spinning pretty well. So, along with Hurricane Hilton, there is also a low pressure system located in the eastern Gulf of Mexico, which is bringing a lot of rain to Florida right now. And so, the Weather Prediction Center has indicated a slight risk, a marginal risk, and a moderate risk of flooding for most of Florida and parts of southeastern Georgia. And this is anticipated to continue over the early part of this week as the hurricane moves across Florida. So you're gonna have to watch out for flooding if you live around the Miami area or just the entire Florida state, realistically. So as of 5 p.m., here are our tropical storm wind speed probabilities. Very high, starting to get pretty high on that western side of Florida, up to 80%, starting to reach into Sarasota, Manatee County, Pinellas County. Here are our 58 mile per hour sustained probabilities, starting to get around 40-50%, starting to reach into those western Florida counties. And we do have an indicated 20% chance of hurricane, or actually 30, my bad, right? Or 20 or 30, I think. I think it's 30% chance of hurricane force winds sustained, starting to reach the western Florida counties, Pinellas, Manatee, Sarasota, possibly even farther south into Punta Gorda and Port Charlotte. And here is our forecast track. Right through Sarasota was the last position as of 5 p.m., as you can see here. South of Sarasota is where it is expected to make landfall. Or that's where the track is going through. Here is our most likely arrival of tropical storm force winds sometime Wednesday morning. The winds should start reaching the western Florida coast, and earliest reasonable sometime Tuesday night. As of 5 p.m. as well, Hurricane Milton is expected to reach a Category 4 hurricane with winds sustained of 145 miles per hour before weakening on landfall around 120 miles per hour. And after that, after crossing the state, it will become post-tropical in nature. So here are our model track guidance. There's a clear consensus somewhere around the general Tampa area is where this hurricane is expected to make landfall. Here are our GEFS tracks. Anywhere from Cedar Key all the way down to Port Charlotte is where that general line is, with most members, as you can see, indicated in that black line somewhere around the southern Pinellas area. And here are our GEPS ensemble members, which most do surprisingly want to keep it farther south near Fort Myers, but there is a huge amount of ensembles still keeping it in the general area the GEFS wants to keep it. And here is our intensity guidance. You do see it's unfortunate. Most models do want a Cat 4 out of this, with some even reaching the Cat 5 status, which is concerning. Up to sustained winds of 145 knots, which is around 150-160 miles per hour sustained. But generally, expect a strong Cat 3 or possibly a weak Cat 4 out of this system. And as anticipated, this is supposed to slightly weaken before landfall around the 72-hour mark, as you can see here. Most models do want to keep it around a strong Cat 3 or on landfall. Strong Cat 3 going down to a Cat 2. Here is our hurricane models for Hurricane Milton. As you can see, this is the H wharf getting down to a 941 making landfall around Cedar Key. It's a huge system. Main problem with this storm is going to be the storm surge with this. This is going to be really bad storm surge for Tampa. So if you are ordered to evacuate, make sure to do so. Here is our HMON. Oh, we're just actually getting 18. All right, let me go back to afternoon. HMON does get it down to a strong Cat 4, making it looks like it starts to significantly weaken on its approach on landfall, luckily, but still be really bad storm surge with this, with winds around actually this would be really good for landfall. This would bring winds of probably Cat 1 as it makes landfall, but there would still be some significant storm surge with this one. Halves A. Let's see. Yeah, it does want to get down to about a Cat 5, unfortunately. This would be really bad for Florida. Landfall around Clearwater area. It's not good. Tampa area really has to prepare. And halves B also does get it down to a Cat 5 as well. Nasty looking eye. Shows landfall. St. Pete Beach area. Still some pretty strong winds around Cat 1, Cat 2 making landfall. And with the storm, we have been outlined in Florida with a marginal risk of severe weather on Tuesday night and Wednesday. Obviously, as this system moves towards Florida, we will get some outer bands that should or are likely to produce some type of tornadic threat, as is indicated. A risk of a couple of tornadoes is expected Tuesday night into early Wednesday morning across portions of Peninsula and Keys. So if you live in Florida and you are ordered to evacuate, there is a few mandatory evacuations already for I think it was Pinellas, Manatee, and Sarasota have already issued Manatee issued mandatory evacuations, and Pinellas and Sarasota, I believe, have issued voluntary evacuations. So if you live in the area in this circle I am drawing, if you are ordered to evacuate, if you're ordered to evacuate anywhere, you should evacuate. But this general area I'm circling really needs to watch this close, because this can be a potentially dangerous situation with possibly a Cat 3 or Cat 4 making landfall on the western Florida coast. And the main threat is going to be storm surge up to possibly 10 or 15 feet. Worst case scenario, obviously, but please, if you are ordered to evacuate, make sure you do so, because this is not a joke. This is serious, people. This is possibly the worst hurricane threat Tampa has received in many years. So if you are ordered to evacuate, please evacuate. But that'll do it for now. I hope you enjoy your evening, and please stay safe.